we're going to tear the Band-Aid off, and we're just going to go ahead and start with this story so that we can get anybody who is in here to be disruptive, so they'll leave. So we're going to start with the story. It's a pretty harsh situation. I don't usually give like trigger warnings or content warnings in here because a lot of what we talk about, most of what we talk about is bad. So it's like the whole stream is kind of a content warning. So we're gonna get into it. I officially have my 150 for my birthday tattoo, so I'm practically vibrating, waiting for times to be settled so I can see Quill. I love that. I'm gonna go work out real quick. I'll be back. Okay, sounds good. Okay, here we go. We're gonna talk about what we need to talk about, and then we're gonna move on, okay? I debated on whether or not I was gonna talk about this because there's information all over the place about this. But what has happened is that Danny Masterson, the actor who played Hyde on That 70s Show, has been in court for a while now for rape charges. And recently he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for it. This is not something that usually happens. We know this, okay? In the US, these kind of cases don't get tried properly or at all and are completely mishandled. So this is kind of like, this is a huge deal. You want to see people who are committing crimes like this go away because it's disgusting. Someone abusing their power in their position to assert that power over somebody else in a sexually abusive way is really fucking disgusting. But the reason why we're talking about this, and we haven't talked about that before because I'm just like, yeah, let this person fall into fucking obscurity, and just, go away for forever. But recently it was released that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, decided that they would, send letters to the judge in this case to ask for leniency for Danny Masterson and to give the judge character references. Okay, so let's read this article really quick so we can get some more context, and we'll dive a little deeper into this. After Danny Masterson rape conviction, That 70s Show cast and crew asked judge for leniency. Despite the character references, Masterson was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Zoom in so you can read along with me. The judge overseeing Danny Masterson's criminal case handed the actor a maximum allowable sentence, resisting calls from nearly 50 of his family, friends, and colleagues to allow him to serve his prison term concurrently rather than consecutively. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, Kurtwood Smith, Deborah Rupp, and David Traynor, all of whom worked alongside Masterson in That 70s Show, wrote to the court as character references, urging Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Charlene F. Almedo to offer Masterson leniency, and letters dated between July and August, after he was convicted in May. They mostly touted his commitment to discouraging the use of drugs. Strange. I don't know who most of these people are. I do know, not that it's Kurtwood Smith. Deborah Rupp is the mom, I believe. And then David Traynor is, I don't know who the fuck that is on That 70s Show. Yeah, they mostly touted his commitment to discouraging the use of drugs. He's a good guy. He's a great father. He started a anti-trafficking charity. That's Ashton Kutcher who did that. Masterson on Thursday was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Though she had the choice to restrict his sentence to 15 years to life, Almeida declined to do so. Masterson will be eligible for parole in roughly 25 years when he's 72 years old. In his letter obtained by the Hollywood Reporter, which is embedded below, Kutcher called Masterson a role model with exceptional character. The actor who founded an anti-human human trafficking organization explained, "I attribute not falling into the typical Hollywood life of drugs directly to Danny. Any time that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he made it clear that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with." Sorry, give me just 1 second. Kunis said that Masterson has been an exceptional older brother figure to her. His dedication to avoiding all substances that has inspired not only me, but also countless others in our circle, she wrote. Danny's steadfastness in promoting a drug-free lifestyle has been a guiding light in my journey through the entertainment world and has helped me prioritize my well-being and focused on making responsible choices. I mean, let me just stop them here for a second. What the fuck does not doing drugs have to do with rape? We'll get to this in a second. Their apology. We'll get to that. Trainer, who directed That 70s Show, said that Masterson was always strictly opposed to drugs of any kind. He detailed that the cast made a pledge to each other, which they kept faithfully, never to do drugs. Rupp said in her letter that one of the first things Masterson did as the leader of the kids on our show was to have them all make a pact that no one would do drugs because of the nature of our show. Yes, they are all defending him. Masterson's use of drugs to incapacitate his accusers played a prominent role in the case. Just, read that over again. All these people telling the judge that, oh, he's such a good person for not doing drugs. Meanwhile, he is drugging people and raping them. The women testified that they were offered a drink by the actor that quickly made them feel intoxicated and didn't line up with the amount they consumed. Unlike the first trial, prosecutors were allowed to directly argue that Masterson drugged his accusers, which may have helped net them a conviction in his retrial. None of the actors were present during Masterson's sentencing when his accusers addressed the court of how the assaults impacted their lives. Other figures in Hollywood that wrote to the court as character references include Sean Piller, Justin Mooney, Jim Patterson, Giovanni Ribisi, William Baldwin, and Eric Balfour. I don't know who any of those people are, and I don't care. While character references can't hurt, Los Angeles lawyer Trey Lovell, who was not involved in the case, says, they are not that helpful. He adds, the victim impact statements are more significant in affecting sentencing than character endorsements, and that the number of character references and the nature of the celebrities giving them had no effect as the judge gave Masterson the maximum sentence. During the trial, Masterson's accusers offered a graphic testimony of violent assaults at the actor's Hollywood home in 2003. In one instance, he dragged an accuser into a jacuzzi before she passed out. She testified that she woke up on a bed to him forcing himself on her. When she fought back, Masterson choked her and brandished a gun to get her to stop resisting, she said. If you were a young woman, who each of these women were at the time, you were far from safe, Deputy District Attorney Reinhold Mueller said during the closing arguments on the first trial, which ended in a hung jury. Because if you were incapacitated in his bed, he would rape you. If you were incapacitated elsewhere in the house, he would come and find you. And if you were at his home and not yet intoxicated, he would offer you the alcohol to get you there and then forcibly rape you. The character references, including those from police officers, business leaders, and neighbors, also praised Masterson as an admirable father and friend. Masterson's lawyers have said the actor will appeal the conviction. This is a nightmare. This is so incredibly violent. It's horrific. I can't. It's bad. That is an understatement. It's disgusting. And I don't know what to tell you. That's all I can really say. Let's take a look at. There's some other information that has not more information that has come out, but things that we are being reminded of. Okay, here's a TMZ article that I want to talk about really quick. Not that the TMZ is the pinnacle of morality, but they've got this compiled together. Let me show you. Danny Masterson accuser torches Ashton Kutcher, resurfaces icky 2000s clips. Okay. One of Danny Masterson's accusers is taking Ashton Kutcher to the woodshed after his in-court support of his old pal, and doing it by resurfacing old footage that hasn't aged well. That's also an understatement. I've seen this. I've seen this footage. Chrissy Bixler, who dated Danny back in the day, but who has since come forward as one of the several women to claim he raped her, took to IG this weekend to invoke DMs that 70s Show co-star who wrote a letter on Masterson's behalf seeking leniency. A series of IG stories, she threw up a ton of old clips that show Ashton and his wife Mila Kunis interacting together, as well as one of Mila and Danny that certainly feels icky. Okay, let's see what this is.
Hilary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18, along with the Olsen twins. Any 15-year-old.
Ended up getting the job, and I didn't
Working
know.
with me.
Yeah, and she was as hot as she was. You know, come on, this one.
14.
14, she was even hotter. But I'm not allowed to say that.
She was 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right?
Right.
And they're like, okay, you guys are going to be making out in this scene. And I'm like thinking like, wait, this is like slightly
I was
illegal,
going to say, that's
right?
probably your first kiss ever, right?
It was my first kiss. Why don't you tell them what bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
No, it wasn't the first kiss. This was like
go
a
ahead,
second or
Ashton.
third kiss.
It was the first. It was like the first week.
No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, you know, Ash was attractive, and I was a 14-year-old little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Sure.
And he was very nice about it. He was like, "Oh, don't worry." So I was like, "Okay." Then Danny goes and goes, "Dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her." When would you stick your tongue in my mouth?
He's always been such a good guy. He's never done it. Why are they just talking about it now? So when he's such a good guy. He's never done anything bad. Telling Ashton Kutcher telling 19-year-old. Keep in mind, Danny Masterson was older than all these kids. Okay. Telling 19-year-old Ashton Kutcher he'll give him $10 to French kiss 14-year-old Mila Kunis. Such a good guy.
Mouth or some.
What? No.
For $10.
You're making it sound like it was like really. Okay, Dan, we had a.
This is not something that they thought was okay. You can tell by his reaction here. He is incredibly uncomfortable because he knows how disgusting that is.
little side bet going.
Yeah,
Like,
which was?
It wasn't very
as to
inside.
whether or not, you're kissing on the show or boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
You would use tongue, right, Rosie? I mean, you would.
From that 70 show, and you're watching In the Crease TV.
Hi, I'm Ashton Kutcher, and I'm from That 70 Show TV. No, That 70 Show too.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm doing this is not because I think In the Crease is good, but because Jock told me Mila would sit on my lap and like, and it feels good.
Huh. Chrissy is strongly suggesting that Danny, Ashton, and Mila were all cut from the same cloth, which, of course, comes on the heels of the couple issuing a public mea culpa for their letters. Sounds like Chrissy is throwing that apology back in their face. Let's see their video that they put out after the backlash from their letters.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years.
Yeah. And he was so different when he was offering you $10 to French kiss a 14-year-old girl.
So that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape.
The most fucking PR ass statement. Not an apology, by the way. They're not calling it an apology here. I'm not calling it an apology because it's not an apology. What they're saying is, oh yeah, we support victims. We just also support our disgusting rapist friend. And then TMZ writes, by the way, another huge star also appears to have weighed in on this saga. Christina Ricci. The actress took to Instagram herself with a lengthy message, but doesn't name Danny, Ashton, or Mila specifically. Still, it seems pretty evident who she's referring to here. Let's read these. So sometimes people we have loved and admired do horrible things. They might not do these things to us, and we only know who they were to us, but that doesn't mean they didn't do horrible things, and to discredit the abuse is a crime. People we know as awesome guys can be predators and abusers. It's tough to accept, but we have to. If we say we support victims, women, children, men, boys, then we must be able to take this stance. Unfortunately, I've known lots of awesome guys who are lovely to me and who have proven to be abusers privately. I've also had personal experience with this. Believe victims, it's not easy to come forward. It's not easy to get a conviction. She's right. She's right. Getting a conviction in a case like this is really, really hard. It's really, really hard. And it shouldn't be. And one of the things that really gets me about things like this is that, like, you'll have these same, like, you have these same bros that are like, you should fucking kill rapists. You should, yeah. If he did that around me, yeah, he'd be in the damn dirt. And you have those same people that are like, dude, Hyde, that guy would never do this shit. Oh no, yeah, yeah, he probably didn't do it if everyone says he's cool. It's like you're a coward. You're a coward if you act that way. You're a coward if you behave that way. It's horrible. These things are horrible. People should be celebrating that this creep got put away. Because you know what's even less likely than a rape conviction like this, in a case like this? A conviction in a case like this with a celebrity. This does not happen. And you know why it doesn't happen? It happens precisely because of the behavior of people like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. People coming out of the woodwork to, they're such a good guy, and try and throw the weight of their celebrity into these cases to get leniency. It seems as though the judge was not having that. Let's see. I had another one, but I don't know. Oh, yeah. I had another article, but we already went over. It's just their non-apology. Yeah, we support victims. We just also support rapists. Pieces of shit. I did also see there are a lot of people digging into Ashton Kutcher's anti-human trafficking nonprofit, and there are some interesting things being found about it. I don't have the details on that, so I'm not gonna speak on it. But you know, if you're interested, you can look into it. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about Ashton Kutcher's nonprofit. I don't care what the fuck he's doing. I think he's disgusting either way. This is fucking gross.